Ryan's going to talk about our A program. We're going to have our Ridge Meadows Minor Hockey Association update, and then our questions. So any questions that we feel need to be answered tonight, like I said, our moderators will be there and we'll try to answer them tonight. Otherwise, we'll take them all again, like I said, and in the next week or two, we'll have your answers out there for you. So moving on. So here you can see our pictures of the board. Myself, Dale Lupel, president. We have Ryan Douglas, our VP of A. Tyler Huron, VP of C. Andrew Corrand, our VP admin. Jed Marshall, director of communications. Chris Shroviak, our treasurer. Nick De La Peruta, our risk manager and tournament manager. Bonnie Segretti, our secretary. Jesse Sadu, our sponsorship. Riley Berth, new position, is our coaching director. We have Stuart Freer, our U18, U15 director. Amelia Nori, our U9, U11 director. Peter Mandoli is our new U6 youth director, and then Dave Legge, our executive director. Moving on. We're going to pass this on to Nick De La Peruta, who is our risk manager with all the rules for this year.
Sorry about that. Let's move to the next slide here. So, all right, so on August 28th, we moved into phase 3 of return to play. Basically, what that means is that participants may breach the 2-meter physical distance guidelines in the field of play. So they're allowed to make contact now on the field of play, provided they are in a cohort. So basically what that means, and it's quite confusing actually, there's a cohort, and then there's also the amount that is allowed in the arena. So I don't want to confuse those two. But you're allowed now to make physical contact within your cohort. So basically, BC Hockey Board of Directors has endorsed a 4-team cohort model, which allows us up to 4 teams to participate in phase 3. So if you're moving out of that that group of 4, then they have to go into a 14-day quarantine. It's basically, think of it as almost like bubbles. So what does this mean? The rinks have a capacity of 40 people. So once again, don't confuse the rinks capacity with the cohorts. If we were to do 2 teams, 16 players, coaches, scorekeeper, timekeeper, health and safety person, no parents would be allowed in the arena if we were going to run it that way, as the rules are today. Once again, you got to think of it as this is the rules as of right now. They could potentially be loosened over time. The true team size of 11, 5 skaters and 1 goalie on the ice. The bench must be distanced still. So don't think of the bench. The bench is still socially distanced. What we're going to do, what Ridge Meadows Minor Hockey Association is going to do this year, is build teams of 8. Run an in-house league of 4-on-4, 4 versus 4. This allows 16 athletes, coaches, officials, and 1 parent per player into the rink. So this allows us, and this isn't necessarily going to happen all year. It is based on what VIA Sport ends up doing. And VIA Sport is in consultation with the BC Health Minister, right? So the facilities also play a role in this as well. They've mandated at the Pitt Meadows Arena that we're only allowed 40 into the building. Okay, we'll go to the next slide now. All right, so changes at the rink. This is the stuff that you guys kind of need to know before you come to the rink. So I'm sure many of you have already done different power skating classes and knock off the rust, and obviously our rustlers pre-season stuff. But I want to go over some of this because it'll be a little different this year. So you'll be greeted at the door to the facility, and you're allowed in 15 minutes prior to your athlete's ice time. You need to do the team snap health check prior to arriving at the rink. Basically, it's, I don't know if any of you have been to physio or anything along those lines, but it basically says that you asks you a series of questions that you're not sick. Enter the facility with some or all gear to speed up the process to minimize contact. So everybody knows their son or daughter well enough to know whether 15 minutes is enough time. If it's not enough time, get them dressed before they get to the rink. Athletes have 15 minutes to exit the building, and the next group will not be allowed to enter until the first group has exited. We can't have 80 people in the arena, obviously, so the 40 that's coming in have to wait until the 40 leave. So, and that includes the athletes. So this year, there's no more sitting in the dressing room with talking with your buddies. They got to get it's got to be moved fairly quickly, otherwise it's going to cause all sorts of problems. Parents, please exit and wait for your athlete outside, away from the front entrance. So you don't wait inside the arena for your child to come out. Just leave the arena, wait for your child outside. Illness. So obviously, if there are any signs of illness for an athlete or anyone entering the building, you must stay home. This year, coming to the rink with a minor cough, sore throat, runny nose, strictly prohibited, obviously. There's also a process that if they will need a note from a doctor if it lingers and they have symptoms for a period of time. Only one guardian can enter the arena per athlete. This is a big one. I know it's tough. People have siblings and you're juggling a whole bunch of different schedules, but they're not allowed in the arena. One person per athlete is allowed to watch the game. Each arena is allowed a maximum of 40 at one time. That includes the athlete and the coaches on the ice. So basically, they will shut things down if they see too many people in the arena. Can you move on to the next slide? Here's another big one. Bring your own labeled and full water bottle. I used to always just leave the water bottle empty in my kid's bag and get to the rink and fill it up. We can't do that anymore. They've shut down the water stations because of they've deemed it as a potential area where there could be multiple people touching it. So you have to bring your own water bottle filled with water. Hand sanitize when entering and exiting the rink. We want to create basically a culture that everybody's kind of doing the same thing. They got a hand sanitizer sitting there right at the front with a pump on the foot. So just use that. Social distancing while in the arena. The athletes can only be 6 feet away without masks when in the field of play. Sorry, that's incorrect there. Basically, we want the parents to social distance, and there are stickers, new Stadia recreation stickers where you're supposed to sit. So make sure you're social distancing once you're inside. Athletes and coaches are the only ones allowed in the dressing room. So for those of you who've got the habit of tying up the kid's skates, that's not going to work this year. He or she has to come out and get you to tie him up if need be. But I'm sure that would be not for most of you. Move on to the next slide. Okay, and face masks. I don't know if you've all seen the social media blitz that we've kind of done on this, but Via Sport recommends that all athletes and spectators enter the arena wearing a face mask, and they recommend that because it's hard to social distance. Ridge Meadows Minor Hockey Association, it has is going to be giving face masks to all of the athletes and the coaches. So they're going to have ones provided for them, this exact one that you see on the screen. And if any of you want to purchase any of these, they're available for $10. You can use the QR code there. Once again, you just put your camera up to it, or just go on Facebook or type in the link that's right there, and you can purchase one of those. We don't care what face mask you're wearing. I mean, it's nice to have everybody wearing a Ridge Meadows one, but as long as people are wearing masks, that's what we need to see. Once you're in your seat, you can take that mask off and you're socially distanced. That once you're in your seat and you're socially distanced, you can take that mask off. But until then, we ask that people do wear a face mask into the arena. And I know that a lot of you are in different camps right now and they're not doing it at this point. We just want to create a culture where everybody's doing it. And that's it for my slides.
Dave Liggy, over to you to cover off the BC Hockey mandated slides. There's only 6 of them this year. We've made it a little bit shorter, but this is something BC Hockey asks us to cover off every year. Dave, can you unmute yourself?
Great. It's Dave Liggy here, guys. Thank